Okay, welcome back. This is guitar number 2. This box definitely looks like it's been sitting around for a while. It's yeah, it looks like it's been taped multiple times. So I'm going to be very mindful of what comes out of this box. Because you just never know. Most of the people I've been dealing with have been straight up, but at the same time you just really... So here we've got Ontario, California, so that's where it came from. It was Ontario. There's a billion stores on Temu, and you never really know who you're dealing with. I don't know if it's like one store pretending to be 500 stores. I have no idea what the Temu story is. But the people for this store, whichever one they are, they were very patient with me. I had lots of questions. Now this does look like it's been retaped, just for the record, so if there's any sense that this guitar doesn't feel like brand spanking new, because I paid full price for it. It's definitely got the Chinese, let's throw a bunch of extra styrofoam in. So this is obviously another Chibson. This is, I believe yes they do. This is a SG Custom. Now from my understanding, not all SG Customs are 3 pickup like this one. And what makes this even more unique, and again I don't know the story fully, but this is a SG Les Paul. And the story on that is I believe 1960 was the last year of the body style of Les Paul that we're all familiar with. And it wasn't selling very well, and so then they came out with this. And for the first year, if not 2 years, they called this the Les Paul. And the real Les Paul, the Mr. Les Paul, the man whose name, now see this bag is really shredded up. This just makes me feel like this guitar was in someone else's hands. Because generally speaking, the bag will not be this hammered if it was put on once at the factory. But we'll see when we get it out. But anyways, as the story goes, so the first 2 years, 61 and 62, this was actually the Les Paul in the SG body. And I believe this one has a little nameplate. And yes, it does. And it is called the Les Paul Custom. And looks nice. Fit and finish looks nice. It's got the fake Grovers. So yeah, this looks like a high-priced guitar. I told the guy, I don't know why they would put their logo on the pickguard. I thought that was pretty cheesy. But he said they did, and they do, and they did, and they do. So it is what it is. He said, just don't look at it. I said, okay, I won't. Anyways, this looks pretty fancy. I had another one, a red one. Didn't feel quite as fancy as this. This feels, you know, the cream color. I'm not a big fan of gold hardware, but you know, just make sure the gold looks okay there. And that's interesting. They didn't even cover up the. Yeah, I didn't even notice they didn't even cover up the Gibson on this one. They just let it out. So I'm going to go plug this in and see how this goes. And we'll be back with more thoughts about that. Okay, I'm back again. I say it over and over and over because it's just worth saying, but it is March the 26th, 2026. It's a beautiful Thursday afternoon, early spring in Great Falls, Montana. And this is just, again, I played this guitar for 20 minutes. And overall, I'm very impressed with this guitar. Again, keep in mind this is an under $200 guitar. It's official, authentic brother would be $2,500 to $3,000, and obviously a $3,000 Gibson is going to play circles around this guitar. But that being said, for a person who's on a budget who wants to have some fun and have a nice, sharp-looking guitar, straight out of the box, plays really nice. Whoever put the strings on this guitar needs a lesson. They're pretty hammered as far as the wraps around the post, but tuned it up twice, stretched the strings, and it stays in tune. Fret ends are smooth, smooth, smooth. The fret tops are a little bit of grit, but not much, and you can just play that off, which I will, because I'm too lazy to pull the strings off and polish the frets. The controls work fine. I'm still not sure how the control situation works on this. My guess, if I were to guess, is that in the rhythm position, it's just this pickup. In the middle position, it's these two pickups, and in the lead position, it's either just this one or these two. Again, overall really nice. I do tend to think that this guitar has been out of the box based on the curling of the control, the plastic on the control. Whoever had it out may have been very quick in their time with the guitar, but it just, the way the box was taped makes me suspicious. The fact that the bag that it was in was torn in multiple places tells me that someone had taken it out and put it back in. But that being said, my only gripe is they did, I mean, it's good, but it's not great. The flushness of the binding with the neck and the color difference is sort of weird looking, only because this is a light color. On the other one, obviously, when it's dark, you expect the contrast. On this, it just looks sort of wimpy, wimpy, wimpy. But otherwise, it feels really good. So at this point, we're going to consider it 2 thumbs up. I like the Les Paul too. Again, the review on it was quick because it is, I bought it specifically just to resell it. This guitar, more than likely, I'm going to keep at least for a while. So we will be back with more impressions. I'm just going to take the pictures of it. And yeah, so there you go. More guitars. More guitars. Welcome back, everybody. It is Saturday afternoon. It is March the 28th, 2026. Here we are in the early days of spring. The weather is very up and down and up and down. Wanted to come back and put a period at the end of the sentence on this guitar. Its future is unknown, not for any fault of the guitar, but just I have another one coming in that is the identical twin, except for this one is Alpine White, and this is Butter Yellow. I like the Butter Yellow, I do. I can't stand the logo on the pickguard. I know, completely superficial. What the hell's wrong with this guy? Who looks at the pickguard? But the fact of the matter is, I may end up keeping both guitars. You know, you never know, or at least for a while. But this is an incredibly nice guitar. It's on Temu right now. I think the starting price was like $230, and it dropped down to $210. I think that's where it is right now. A little trick, if you have a Temu account and you go into their chat feature, and you just say, because you're talking to a robot, if you just say, "Good morning, any coupons available?" Sometimes the robot will come back and say, "Oh, wow, there's no coupons available." So you go, you wander away. You come back to the chat feature in 10 minutes and you say, "I'm looking to buy a guitar, and I understand that you have a 20% off, maximum $100, so it ends up just being $20 off. But hey, $20 is $20. So if you are able to get that coupon, and this guitar is down to $210 now, you can have this guitar for $190. And sometimes they'll run a $10 one-day discount, so then you can get this guitar for like $180. In the $180 category, this guitar is just unbelievable. I mean, again, the build quality on this guitar is really nice. I found one tiny flaw on the top of the headstock. The binding has a little crack, but so what? The other flaw, which again, you don't notice when you're playing, but there's a bit of a lip between the binding, the machine that cut, or the binding cut it just a little deep. You can feel just a little lip, but you do not feel it when you're playing. Fret ends, absolute butter, delicious. The controls all work fine. Again, I have no idea how the pickups work. Again, as I guessed, I'm thinking that in this position it's this pickup, middle maybe these two, this position maybe these two. I have no idea. But it's a beautiful guitar to look at. It plays nice. It sounds nice. Again, none of these guitars are being tested at stage volume, and based on everything I've read, most of them fail because most of them are not wax potted, and the whole idea behind wax potting pickups was as the rock and roll revolution took hold and people were using more amplification, feedback and squeal was a problem with pickups. They'd never counted that before. Generally speaking, people played guitar at modest volumes, so that can be an issue, but it's not an issue that I have any trouble with. As I said before too, my preference is not gold hardware, and it becomes even more problematic when you're talking inexpensive guitars, because literally, I don't know how you measure the thickness of gold, but I mean micrometers, just microns, submicron. Again, this is gold hardware that will fall off if you look at it the wrong way, but the guitar is 2 days old and the gold looks flawless, and it looks nice. I mean, it fits the color of the guitar nice, and yeah, it's not overwhelming. Again, the fake Grover tuners, they don't work great, but the guitar tunes up and it stays in tune fairly well. Again, the strings are only 2 days old, so I'm stretching them out. No more black on the fingertips. That went away after the first day. So yeah, I give this guitar a really, really, really high ratings. I told the guy that manufactures the guitar, knock it off, take your logo off the pickguard. No one wants to see your logo. But he apparently thinks it's a good idea. You can see this particular logo on quite a few of the Chibsons. Yeah, so the one that I'm supposedly getting at the end of the week, supposedly, according to the pictures, doesn't have this logo. Yeah, and so there you go. So that concludes. So this is the other feature on this guitar, which is interesting. I said this to you. I don't know if this is how they originally did it, but you see right here, it actually says Les Paul Custom, and this was, again, I'm guessing this is a recreation of a 1961 or a 62. When the SG was still called the Les Paul, and then Les Paul stepped in and said, I don't like the guitar and I don't want my name on it. So whoosh, it quit becoming a Les Paul and it became an SG. So this is the transition model when it was a Les Paul. And a beautiful guitar it is. So as always, we thank you for joining us for our adventures in the world of guitars. And we will be back with more. There's always another one. I wonder what happened to that guy. He was pretty interesting. I think his podcast was just one more guitar. Nice fella. I don't know where he was from, but he seemed to go off the radar. So maybe he finally got enough guitars. I don't know. I hope he's doing okay. Anyways, we will be back towards the end of the week. We leave you again. It is Saturday. It is March the 28th, 2026. Thank you very much.